Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. I'm super excited to be here this evening. I'm doing a Ask Me Anything. And it's always my honor to do this. I try to do one a quarter, and it's my honor. It's my honor to answer any questions that you might have on the floor. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant, and I got started my company over 20 years ago. If you're just meeting me, and I simply made a decision to go to work as myself. Hey there, darling. And I wanted to figure out how to take my background as a corporate trainer and my systems that I had as a mom, which is a soft skill, and to package it into a premium product or service. And I did exactly that. So today, fast forward, I coach other women who are smart and sharp, highly actionable, and I show them how you can package who you are. You can go to work as yourself. Hey, Dolores, there you are. Good to see you. And I show you how to take your knowledge, your background, your gifts, your talents, your expertise, and how to put it in a system that is monetizable. Because a lot of times we haven't thought about our knowledge in that way. Most often we've been selling our knowledge by trading time for dollars, right? Through a work environment. And I show women how to reposition the way that they earn and take their knowledge and put it in a structure like coaching or consulting or training or licensing. And now you're in control of what you know, and you have so many different tools in your toolbox to be able to monetize what you do. So I'm so excited today. I'm doing an Ask Me Anything, and I only do this once a quarter, and it's my honor to do it. And it's my way to connect with my community. If there's one question, I'll answer it. If there are 50 questions, I'll answer them in the time allotted. My only goal is to support those of you who come here, you have questions. Sometimes you have a question, sometimes it's just general things like, Mia, can you recommend a great book? Or other times it might be something about, related to being a mom and running a business and how to make room for your life. You decide what the questions are. It can relate to your business, obviously. And maybe it's a question about you showing up for yourself or not making excuses any longer. I'm good for that as well. And my only goal is to support you 100% by answering the questions that you have for me. Obviously, I'd love to answer any question that you have around me supporting you and how I might be able to do that. And this is a great forum to be able to do that. But it's for you. Tonight, I'm here just to answer any questions that you might have. And to make the most of this time, do a couple of things. One, start writing down the questions that you have for me. And then I have to also check my phone, right, to see if there are questions on another platform. Hey there, darling. Awesome. Thank you. If there are other questions on the platform that I can't see here. Okay. So it's going to make me stay on top of my A game also. All right. And I want to introduce you guys to someone. Some of you guys have already met her, but I'm going to introduce you to someone as you start to write down your questions. And I think you guys saw that this is one of my favorite gifts ever. One of my coaches, Dan, sent this to me a couple of years ago. I didn't know he was sending this. This is me. Okay. This is like my highest converting campaign at that time. And he helped me with that. And then he sent me a bobblehead of me. Okay. And I think you guys recognize the black jacket, right? This is like the cutest thing. And I keep it on my desk to remind me to show up like a giant and to be tall. And I think that's so important. Let's just get started. If there are any questions, you get to post those questions here in real time, and then I'll answer those questions, any question that you might have for me. And like I said, I'm just going to have some fun tonight. For those of you who are just meeting me, typically I come live on Mondays and I'll answer. I usually am teaching something, and then I'll answer questions at the end related to whatever it is that I was speaking about. I typically coach a great deal around mindset, because in order for you to step into the next level, you're already smart and sharp and you use your talents every single day. You have to believe you're worth it. And you have to believe that your ideas are worthy of you stepping into that next level. And that's what I'd love to talk about. That's what I love to hold women to. My ideal client, if you will, is a woman who's smart. Yeah, smart. And she knows and she's comfortable with that. And not from an ego perspective. She just can deliver results for others. Now, she might not know how to package herself or sell what she does because she's been working in a company and serving in a different way. And that's my expertise, is getting her to show up for herself, be tall for herself, be gigantic for herself, and own her gifts and her talents so that she can create a life that's unrecognizable. That was my story. I mean, I literally decided, I was a corporate trainer, and I decided I wanted to go to work as myself. And I wanted to figure out how I could leverage my background and package it in my own business. And I started as a mom coach specifically, and decided that what I would do is show women specifically how to always make time for their life. And I created a number of books that became best-selling called Time for Mommy, 5 Essential Strategies for Mom Self-Care. And that those books became a movement. And I ended up doing multiple partnerships with Fortune 100 and 500 companies with my proprietary system across the country. And literally around the world, and hosting events largely in Trinidad and Tobago. I've hosted maybe 4 or 5 events there, and my only goal was to just be myself and share my gifts. And I knew that they had great value. And I want you to listen to my story, and I want you to think about yours. I knew that there were women that did not know how to make time for themselves, and I knew that that was causing them pain. And I knew the secret to overcoming that, and I created a system around it. And little did I know I'd get signed to Emmy nominated, nationally syndicated television shows as a segment expert, and as the mom strategist. And it changed my life, and it really changed how I look at my gifts and how I look at the gifts of my clients. Now, while I'm talking, you guys have an opportunity to post your questions here. It's a live Q&A, ask me anything, and I'm going to jump in a second once I see a couple of questions that come in. And it changed my life. And I realized that it was before I had evidence or proof that the concept was going to work. I trusted myself enough. I bet on myself. I invested in myself proactively, not reactively. And I changed my life. And you can do exactly the same. And today, fast forward, I've coached thousands of women around the world, and I show them how to, what I call, own your bigness, own your gifts, your talents, and don't play small for what you have, what God has given you. You've got amazing gifts, and they're meant to create impact. You can't create impact if you don't share the gift, and you can't create impact if you are afraid to say what the gift is. And you have a responsibility with your giftedness, I believe, to be gigantic about it, right? And to help others. So I'm really excited today. There's a Facebook user that's here, and I can't see your question. So you can just post your question here. It's like Facebook user, but I don't see your name and I can't see your question. All right. So there is a question. This is a live Q&A. I'm going to intimately answer your questions, and then I'll pop in with my commentary around many things, right? So Dolores says, how did you decide on your first offer and the best way to offer it, right? So one of the first things that I did was I thought about what I was really amazing at. And I was really amazing at making time for myself. I had these great mom systems. And I knew they were great because whenever I was in the company of other moms, they would always ask me, how did you have time to read that book? How did you make time to whatever it was I was doing, right? And I had 5 things that I did, which was my system. And that's what I launched with. I trusted that it was enough. Now, let me just say this, Dolores. When I started, we're talking about coaching moms 20 years ago. And there were people who were like, this won't work. No one's going to pay you to be a mom coach. Okay. Like, no one, who's going to do that? And I'm so grateful that I didn't listen to that director of that Small Business Resource Center. I'm so grateful that I didn't shrink my shine, because the only people that ask you to shrink are people who are not shining. Okay. People who shine want you to shine too. We all like light and sunshine and other brilliant minds. And I've always learned that if you're in the company of a giant or not, because giants love the company of other giants. You know what I mean? But if you're an ant, you really don't like the company of other giants because you feel small. And it doesn't mean that you are small. It's just that you have a mindset or a self-belief that you are. And so you don't enjoy being around people who own their bigness, like their giganticness, their gifts, their talent, and what they were put here for. I have an appetite, to be around giants, and I only coach giants. And a lot of times we have to do that mindset work on ourselves so that we can show up and have the belief in ourselves that this idea, even though it doesn't have proof of concept, even though I had never sold it before, that it will work. And I just trusted myself. And the very first thing I did when I wanted to change my life, I made a significant investment in myself, about 18 grand. And so this is 20 years ago. And I did not know what the first module was going to be or what kind of coach I was going to be, because it wasn't as if I had decided I'm going to be a coach. I knew there was something here. And I knew I had an ability to create results. For others, I had a background as a trainer, but I wasn't necessarily sure. I learned as a result of putting myself in the environment that I needed, and I could sharpen my saw by being around other people who were growing their dreams. And I just want to speak to that for a minute. If you have any other questions, you guys post them here. You'll never grow on the outside looking in. You'll never grow. There's something about I was just talking to a client actually today, and I was saying, the value of being in the room. You always hear people saying being at the table. There's a lot to be learned just being in the room. There's a lot to be learned just being in the room. And I'll tell you what I mean. So I coach my clients, some of my clients on Tuesday nights, and they're in the room. Okay. So they're in the room on Tuesday nights, and I coach them collectively. And the truth of the matter is many of them learn things that they would have never asked themselves, because they're in the room. See, they're in the room with people who are giants, who are doing the work, who are implementing. And because of that, their level of comprehension grows. They get things that they didn't even know they needed, right? They didn't even know to ask the question. You've got to put yourself in the room in order for you to grow. And I think that is one of the biggest issues that I have with people. Everybody wants to learn, and you want to be on the outside. You want to know, like, how will I know? The way you'll know is you have to trust yourself to go on the inside. And on the inside is where you will learn amazing things. I have clients who have learned how to sell, and they didn't have a client yet. Like, they had just gotten started, but they learned from someone else, me teaching someone else how to sell and how to close and how to run through the sales script and how to overcome an objection. And as a result of that, they grew. And that became part of their arsenal. And now when that opportunity happened for them, it was there. They heard it before they needed it. So you've got to give yourself something that you need before, sometimes before you even know what you need. So that's one thing. And the other thing I will say is that a lot of times, and this is just such an important success principle in general that I've seen, a lot of times most people make decisions based on emotion. And I'm going to tell you what I mean. And I know that some of you, this is going to step on your toes. However, it's the truth. A lot of people make decisions based on emotion, the emotion of, and a lot of times they're the dark emotions, right? The low ones, right? Like the fear, the doubt, and we start thinking about who we're not. We start thinking about what if it doesn't work. We start thinking about what we don't have, the money we don't have, all of these things. And I just want you to understand that, the reality is that whenever you're doing something, there is always the opportunity to experience the emotion of the choice, right? So there's always that opportunity to be like, I'm afraid, or I'm scared, or whatever it is. And even if you think about it when, you're exercising, you might even say, man, like, that really is going to hurt. You start thinking about the emotion of like lifting harder, right? But there's something that happens on the other side of that other rep that really opens you up to the growth and every single thing you want. So there's not a person that makes a decision that gets on the other side that doesn't have to deal with or wrestle with the emotion. But some people allow their emotions to guide all of their choice making. And because of it, they never push through to get to the other side. I mean, if you think about people, like I think about somebody like a Kobe Bryant or Steph Curry, or man, I can't imagine what emotion they must be feeling, in order for them to train in a way that allows them to exceed all others. So they've learned to push past the emotion of like, I'm tired, right? This is hard. This is too difficult. It's too competitive, right? And they don't allow their emotions to dictate if they're going to stay in it or not. And because of it, that's where they've built mental toughness. And I'm just going to break that down for you because why am I talking about this? If you have any other questions, post them here. I'm talking about it because there are opportunities available to you right now that likely you do not see. I always tell my clients there's a layer of money around you that likely you do not see. And a lot of times we don't see it because of our emotions. We're thinking about who we're not, what if it doesn't work? What if I can't do it? And we get so caught in the doubt, the fear, and the insecurity that it takes over any of the highest and tallest decisions that we're going to make. I can tell you every single time I've had a difficult situation, the first thing I think about is the highest and tallest choice I could possibly make in a scenario. And people wonder why they land where they land, right? Through, anything that they want that they have to push through. If you get caught in the emotion and you choose the lowest frequency, you get those choices. And if instead you push yourself and you get to that other side, you get those choices too. I hope that helps you. Dolores writes, there's a lot to be learned just being in a room with other giants. It is. And I've seen it over and over again. I've had clients who couldn't sell anything. I mean, some with medical training background never sold anything before. And as a result of being in the environment, learned to sell high ticket. I was just, on a call with a client just last week who was just sharing how, she was selling something for $5,000 and now she's selling something for $25,000 and her clients just renewed for that. It was pretty amazing. It's amazing watching my clients. I have a client who is an educator who had never sold anything like high ticket at all, sold time, but never anything high ticket, built a first premium product. And if any of my clients are here, you can say whether you heard this story or not. This is just a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and she closed the first deal for $15,000. How cool is that, right? Never sold anything before, but she was in the room, and you have to be in the room. Now, let me just say this. You could be in the room, but if you're in the room and you don't work on your mindset in tandem, then you sometimes can't consume what's in the room. All right. That's fact too. So being in the room is one part, but the other piece is you gotta come to that room with a desire and a spirit to learn and to be different, to renew your mind, right? So sometimes we want to enter rooms and new spaces, but we don't want to change, and because of our own belief systems about ourselves or the story that has been playing from others over and over again, we can't rise to whatever that next level looks like. And you got to ask yourself if that's you and that's something that you've been dealing with over the years. It's very important to do the work, the self-work on yourself so that you can show up like the giant you're meant to be. You're amazing. Your story will create incredible impact for those who you decide to touch, but you can't touch anyone sitting in the room of one. Okay, sitting in the room by yourself, okay, talking about how life is not going to work and talking about all the people in the world who hurt you and harmed you and won't buy from you or whatever it is. It's just not, it's time sometimes to create a different story, and give yourself a chance, a shot, right, to show up in amazing ways. And it's funny because I see it. I have clients sometimes have told me, Mia, like they're selling something in high ticket. And they're like, Mia, nobody's buying from me. I said, nobody's buying from me because you believe people aren't going to buy from you at this price. You're the first sale. And you got to understand that, like, when people are buying from you, high ticket things, it's a transference of energy. And if you don't understand your own value and self-worth, then why would anyone say, I pick you? If you sell or offer what you have with a spirit of desperation, I need this money, nobody's interested in that. It's about taking your gifts and serving. And I love to shake the shoulders of my clients and get them to show up like the giants that they are, to understand that your gifts and your talents they're not the kind of things that you just want to lift something off of somebody's website and be that, right? You want to understand the value of what you bring to the table. You're unique, you're talented, and you're brilliant. There are people who want what you have, your unique perspective, your walk, your journey, all the things that have happened to you that you've grown from could be a stepping stone for someone else, right? To have a better life. And it could literally be the gifts and the talents that you have, could literally be the ministry that you have if you will get out of your own head. And you know what I mean? Stop telling yourself that, I'll do it next year, or I'll do it, whatever. Time is now. I was talking to someone about, decision making. And if I look at my clients that have been the most successful, I'd say the ones that say yes and figure it out are always the most successful. And the ones that say, oh, well, I'll get back to it, are the ones that never finish or complete anything. You have to say yes at some point in your life and figure it out. Go do it. The very first time I remember doing a live, which was on Periscope. You guys, I don't even know if y'all remember Periscope. But I was doing a live and on Periscope, and I didn't know if I could figure it out. I didn't know how to cut the camera on or camera off. So I literally went on a Periscope, didn't invite anyone that I knew. I went over there by myself, and I would go and practice and do videos, right? And that way I could practice and see if they were good. But I said yes, and I figured it out. And little did I know, thousands of people would come on over to Periscope that I didn't invite, and they slowly started seeing what I was putting out there. And I probably shot maybe, 2,000-3,000 videos, starting with, I don't know how to do this, you know what I mean? And I'm just trying to figure out where the camera goes. So a lot of times we're trying to get things just right instead of just launching where we are. And you'll figure it out along the way, but you cannot figure it out not cutting the camera on, not saying yes, not creating the offer, not picking up the phone. You guys with me, all right? So are there any other questions? Tonight is a live Q&A, ask me anything. And I thought that I would come on, answer any questions that you might have for me, because sometimes there are questions that I'm looking at my phone to see on other platforms. There are questions that you have, and a lot of you guys are just, sometimes you have questions, and you're like, I don't know, Mia. I just want to know, like, how do I develop how do I become more confident, or how do I start doing my lives, or how do I trust myself more, or whatever, right? So, and I thought it would be really cool if I came on and answered that. Okay, so somebody says, I am moving and figuring it out slowly, but getting there. I love that. I can't see your name. You can see that, right? But that's cool. Like, it doesn't matter how fast you get somewhere, right? Because the view is the same. I tell my clients this all the time. I said, look, I was an 18-month overnight success. Did you hear me? Okay. I was an 18-month overnight success. So I have a lot of clients that have done things I never did. I have clients who have within weeks, closed huge deals. I have clients who within 6 weeks hit six figures. I have clients who just done all kinds of things. It took me 18 months, but the view was the same. And so I always share that. I'm always very transparent about it, because I know we live in microwave culture, and everybody's like, I made $1 million in 2 days, while I was sleeping. But I'm just telling you that, like, I had to work on myself, and I had to figure out what I was going to offer, but I knew I was worth it. And I am so grateful that I moved the needle over and over again, slowly and steady. And that won the race, and it'll work for you also. Are there any other questions or comments that you have tonight? Is this supporting you? I also wanted to just come on here and talk about some things that I've got coming up, which are the Giant Experience Master Training. As many of you know, the Giant Experience Master Training online has been an offering that I've had since August of 2019. So August of 2019, I hosted an event in Baltimore. It was a live event, and I recorded that event. And during COVID, I made that training available. It's been closed doors. No one's had access to it unless you purchase the master training online. And in the past, that master training, I've held it, I don't know how many times, but hundreds of people have attended that master training. Clients have made multiple millions of dollars collectively as a result of that training. And the way it would work is you would get 10 hours of my best training where I teach you how to package and price and position and find buyers. But in addition to that, you would come to a 2-day live event with me on Zoom, right? Because it was during COVID and it's a virtual event. The next live event is actually in July online. And so I thought, you know what? Okay, that's cool. Recently, somebody asked me, Mia, can I have access to that training? I can't make the live event, but can I have access to the training? I said, okay, well, let me look at it. So I decided for the very first time to make the online training, the 10-hour training, which no one's had access to up until now, for $9.97. So you can actually start training with me tonight, learn everything that I teach you, which is based on me building an amazing business and what I've transferred to my clients who equally have built an amazing business. You get access to an incredible client panel that's very revealing, where you get to see really how these women have been able to take their ideas and package them and overcome themselves to create an amazing business and brand. You also get to hear from my IP attorney, who will share with you exactly what you need to do to protect your IP, right? When your intellectual property, your thought leadership, and that training's there. Needless to say, it was pretty amazing. And then you get my training where I'm teaching you, over and over again around how to take your knowledge and put it in a structure to monetize and how to think about it and how to get started with it. So it's a really great way for those of you who've been watching me to say, and you want to get started, I want to get started with the master training. Now you can just simply do the training. You get the workbook guide. It's I always teach from this perspective. It's a guided process that gets you to actually insert, as you're learning the training, what I'm teaching you inside of the guide. So you're building as you're going. So it's phenomenal. And so it's $1,000 roughly, $9.97. No excuse if you wanted to work with me. I'll post the link here. Let me grab it real quick. And for any of you that might be interested in this. So this is the that's the online training, right? So the Giant Experience Master Training online. You can watch it from the comfort of your home tonight and get started. So it's pretty phenomenal. And then also, as you know, I'm having a live event. I'm so excited. Okay, in June. Okay, and I'm hosting a live event. This is the second Giant Experience live in Baltimore. So you're like, wait a minute, Mia, you just said the Giant Experience online. Exactly. So I'm hosting in June the second annual Giant Experience Live in Baltimore event. It's a physical event in Baltimore, Maryland, and it's a done with you event. So I'll teach you about packaging your knowledge at the highest level, and then you will implement what I teach in real time, what I get you to do. I will teach you how to price, to value what you're doing, then you implement in real time. And I'll teach you how to position yourself in the marketplace, many ways you can market, and I'll show you how to do it. You'll come up with your plan there, and you'll have time to do that. And then I'll show you how to sell clothes. There are laser seats and coaching all weekend long where you get to come up, and I am coaching you directly over the course of the weekend. The thing that's so amazing about this live in Baltimore training is that I decided since COVID, I haven't had an event. This is my first really big event outside of my mastermind that was just in Puerto Rico in January of this year, which was phenomenal. So I'm excited because I wanted to do a master training so I could support more women with hitting six figures. That's my only goal. This year is 6 figures or more, helping you package your knowledge, where you want to have 6-figure months or you want to have a 6-figure year. Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to show you how to do it. So when you come to Baltimore, you are coming to a 3-day mastermind, June 2nd through 4th. And there is a reception on Friday night. And then your lunch is provided every day. And then I'm teaching you and coaching you the whole time. So I'm really excited about that. And just to have the opportunity so that over the course of the 3 days, you'll leave with your plan in place, with what your product is, and you'll have a scale of what it is, and you'll have feedback. And this is especially great for those of you who want to be able to get some clarity over the course of 3 days. And My events, you've already heard about them over the years, I'm sure, unless you're new, are, they're legendary. They're incredible. It's the people that you meet, but also just the level of training that's provided. I've never done an event like this for this kind of price. And the only reason I decided to price it, it's the giantexperience.com. It's the only reason I decided to price it for what I've priced it at is literally because it's the first event since COVID. And I know that a lot of people are just kind of getting themselves back into the scheme of going out and staying places. And I wanted to make it an easy yes. It's under $5,000. There is a coupon code, which I think is you save $1,250. So once you apply the coupon, you're under $5,000 for a 3-day mastermind. This is like the craziest, most amazing thing I've ever provided ever. So, and I know that it'll support you. It's for you if you're an implementer or an action taker. If you're a person that wants to know over the course of a couple of days, you want to get some context around, is what you're doing, is it working? You want me to put my eyeballs on it, I'll be able to see you. I'll coach you. If you want to get instant feedback from your peers as well, it's for you, right? So I know that it'll be a great help for many of you, and I look forward to supporting you, at a live mastermind class. For something like this, I would typically charge $12,000. So it's a gift. It literally is a gift for those of you who are ready to say yes to yourselves and you're ready to implement. Tonight was a live Q&A, Ask Me Anything. And are there any questions, comments, thoughts, anything that I can support you with? My only goal was just to come on and answer any questions that you might have for me. Sometimes, I do these usually once a quarter, and my goal is to just be available to my community and just be accessible to you and let you know, look, it's absolutely possible for you to, no matter where you are in your business or business concept, to package what you're doing and to position it and sell it to get in front of your ideal clients. And so I'm super excited that we had the opportunity tonight to speak. If there are any final questions or comments, you can post them here. Otherwise, I'm going to hop off, but it's been an honor to have the opportunity to share with you tonight. And, check out the Giant Experience, whether it's online or whether it's in person. Grab your seat. I can tell you it's going to be life-changing for you if you are in that place and you can see for yourself, like, I want to build a business that's time-rich, not trading time for dollars based on my knowledge. I want to know how to leverage my gifts. I want to put things in place step by step. And I encourage you to check out the testimonials on the pages, hear what clients have said about attending my event. We've got so many great, amazing testimonials, hundreds really. And I always say that because there are very few people that have that. And so I always love to share it. It is last call. If you have a question, you can post it here and I'll answer it. If you're watching the replay, you missed it. All right. I did send a notification out to my list to see if anyone had any questions for me. If you have any questions, you can post them and maybe I'll get to them on the stream. But my goal is just to be a resource to those of you who are here in the community. Are there any questions? Final questions? You can post them here, do it quickly before I sign off. And no question is really off the floor. My goal is obviously just to be here and to be an amazing resource to my community. What else did I want to tell you guys? Was there anything else? I mean, I think the main thing is just trusting yourself, making sure you have the mindset to know that you can show up for yourself in a way that is tall. Even if you don't know how, just get around environments and people that have done the thing that you want to do. And it makes all the difference in terms of you knowing what the options could be or what they could look like for yourself. All right. So I love you. I wish you amazing success in all you do. And I'll talk to you next week on Monday. Talk to you soon.